51, a split screen experience podcast.
It's actually been a year.
It
I
has
know
been a year.
51, but we took a week off back in
Yep.
April. Excuse me. Let me correct myself. We took a week off in April because of some family stuff for me. Don't need to get into that. But it's been a year since we have graciously graced your ears with us talking.
Our 1 year anniversary.
And why not kick it off with the two guys that started it all? Me
The
and
two
Anthony.
old heads.
Like
No, our 1 year anniversary. What'd you get me?
1 year. Check your mailbox.
Oh, okay. Harmon, this is a pipe bomb.
I don't know what you want from me.
That's from Skippy. Don't worry about that. That's just Skippy hate mail. It's all good.
Yep.
Yeah, no, a year. It's kind of crazy that, yeah, we are officially a year into doing this and how much things have changed. I mean, in a year, even.
We went from just us two doing split screen, then we finally launched Odd Horizons, got the
Hmm.
other guys involved, and now it's five of us with maybe a sixth, but he's kind of been on the fence. But who knows? Who knows?
Well, he would break the fence if he was on it. But yeah, no, it's still just incredible. I mean, yeah, the fact that yeah, we started having the conversation because I know we talked about this years ago at this point, and
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
nothing ever really came of it. It was kind of a hard time. We were still finishing up school, and then there was that adjustment period where like you had just moved, um, and then I was still figuring out my situation. And
Hmm.
so then, do like, hey, like, what if we started doing this? And then originally only being on Spotify, and then now brought like branching out into technically video format on YouTube with the podcast, not super visual, but at least it's on there and available as well as the rest of our content, which I'm super proud of. What we've been able to do over there in terms of you can see in the short time we've been doing the actual Odd Horizons gaming, especially if you go back and watch our best of video, which I highly recommend, just came out last week. Um, there's
Very
definitely an
fun.
evolution in terms of like people understanding for the most part. There are some weeks later on where we didn't have like the best recording overall necessarily, but like that's going to happen. But like by and large, people are understanding and getting more comfortable with it, which means I'm hoping this year leads to some really great moments for us in terms of content as well as like milestone achievement type things.
Well, if you've already seen our GTA video, then you already know that we've already had plenty of funny moments already.
It was a good
Uh,
video,
with Jarrett not being able to drive, yeah, that
just
really
like real
set me
life.
off. I know. It's crazy.
Literally no different. Hearing him join the Xbox party in the middle, like while he's driving home, and be like, "You're going 10 man, jackass,
Get out of my way, partner.
go around." There's something inherently funny about being stuck in a car with Jarrett. Like when we were stuck in that drive-through at McDonald's, literally all I could think of was like, imagine driving from like New York to LA with him in the car.
Oh my god, that would be awful. Especially you guys haven't had to hear it yet, or you've kind of had a small taste, but him eating literally anything,
Oh
I
my
would go
God, dude.
insane. Whether it be
Like,
hard candy, chips, something soft, he finds a way to make eating loud.
well, because that's what he does. Because he takes hard candy, you hear it clacking against his teeth, or he takes a chip and he doesn't try to get most of it into his mouth before chomping. He wants to take a single tortilla chip and take 9 bites to finish it. And it's the most obnoxious behavior. Like, oh my, if that was coming from the backseat of the car and I was driving, I would take us off a road. Like, I would literally just drive off a cliff and watch us burn into a fiery wreckage because I can't handle that.
Yeah, no, you saying I don't think I would survive from New York to LA with Jarrett.
Now, there's that other road trip that could happen that, I think would be it'd be annoying, but it'd be funny that we kind of talked about.
It would be. I agree. Uh, I don't
Hey,
know if it's actually ever gonna happen, but it'd be
but
funny.
if we turned it into an Odd Horizons thing and we recorded it, it's technically a tax write-off.
Technically, but I don't know if any of us really have the vacation time to burn that much.
It'll be fine. Well, we know, okay, two people definitely can go. Well, three people can definitely go if I'm counting me. There's the redhead who doesn't work anyway and calls off for less. So there's that. And then there's Yi who is unemployed effectively.
Yeah.
I know he's sitting there watching this, like listening to this in however many weeks, because I'm sure he's not up to date on the actual podcast, but like he's gonna get to this episode and be like, How many times have I told you guys I am
Who are we talking
If
about?
Coleman was here right now, he'd be
Oh,
dogpiling on
Coleman.
Jarrett
Okay,
too.
okay. I wasn't sure who. Wait, are we talking about Coleman?
I was talking about Jarrett, but I was because like Coleman's the one who's always saying that Jarrett doesn't have a job.
Yeah,
He's like, "When do you get a real job? Lifting manhole covers and sucking the sap out of trees or whatever else he does." Like,
Jared just want to get it.
yeah, he's got soft hands for a guy. That's all I'm gonna say. Like,
Yeah, let's not bring this conversation over to me because my hands may be soft.
again, Jarrett right now during all this is fuming. Like,
I do work. Like I actually don't do work. I just don't do a lot. But I do
well, yeah,
have
that's the best part, right? Because like you have on demand necessity, but that doesn't mean you're always active, which is good. Like,
yeah. Like I have some projects that I can do passively. They don't have a deadline.
right,
Not for Hot Horizons for my full time job. But and then like as I can work on those, but also when I get tickets to go work on other stuff, then I can drop what I'm doing and not feel like I have to get this done at any certain point and go fix whatever the hell I need to.
yeah, that
It's a
makes
great
sense.
it's a great job, really. You still have a good amount of freedom in what you do, but there's always something that's gonna mess up. So you're always kind of busy.
Hey, well, one thing will lead to another, and eventually, hopefully, Odd Horizons proper will be solid, just payment for all of us to where we don't have to work another job. That's like the ultimate dream.
Yeah, that's just gonna have to require us to get decently big.
Yeah, but like I told, I think I was talking to Skippy about it a while ago. I'm like, even if we get to like a moderate level where we're bringing in a little bit of money, even if it's just enough to like bump all of our normal incomes up higher, that'd be
Mhm.
fine too. Like, maybe it pays for you to go on like a nice vacation once a year for a little bit until it gets bigger. Like, I'd be okay with that. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so we did like kind of like our reflection on the year. We took a dig at Jarrett.
It always happens.
I think that the checklist is done.
What was your favorite game of 2024? Uh, it came out a couple years ago, but, Wolf Among Us.
So frustrating. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, do we have
'Cause then he
anything like? Sorry, go
'cause
ahead.
then he did it again for worst game too.
Oh yeah, no, he did. And then he tried to say a game he didn't even play.
He was like, Dragon Dogma 2. You didn't play it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Also,
We're
like, I haven't gotten around to that game yet, but like, I'm sure it's not bad. The only thing that people were griping about was again stupid microtransaction things that just shouldn't be there, even if they aren't like a necessity. But it's like the ability to pay your way through difficulty aspects in the game, even though it doesn't affect your playthrough, is stupid to offer. But
I agree.
you know, I that was the only point of contention for them was just like the fact that it was a bad PR moment. But I'm sure the game itself's fine. I know there was that whole thing where you only had one character slot, though. That could be a bit of a problem.
I think the first one only had 1 character slot, if I'm remembering correctly.
It might have, but also the
But,
first game I was like, I don't feel like I'm gonna play that ever again after I think I played through on the 360 and then the one port.
I bought it for $5, so it was definitely worth it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that price point, pretty much every game's worth it other than like Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Fuck that game. Like, actively fuck that game. Oh, we're gonna tell us and we're gonna bitch out at the last second and go, well, it wasn't really them. It's like, all right, then what was the point of the story? I kill clones of the Justice League, and then now in the live seasons that aren't gonna finish, we're gonna release the real Justice League members, but like they don't help you. At least to my not like you don't get them as like a character. It's like, nope, you're still you. It's just like the Flash goes, thanks for getting me out of there, and then leaves. It's like, all
Yeah,
right.
I can see why that'd be kinda dumb.
That whole game was just plagued with. I know it's not new to dunk on that game, but like, how are you gonna have like a season of content for characters and like first things first, we're putting the Joker in the game. It's not a cool version of Joker, but he's here, and then we're gonna do Mrs. Freeze, and I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure in like no comic line did she ever have cryo anything because it's every storyline with her is always she gets sick, and that's why Mister Freeze does what he does. But whatever, like
Is this was, like, Kevin Conroy's last project too, wasn't it? Like, last thing he's a part of,
game.
game?
I think there was a show or movie because like DC pumps out somehow DC Animation, who I don't know if they use a bunch of different studios or what. They pump out like 15 animated movies a year minimum.
They do pump out a lot of animated works, and,
Yeah,
I kinda wish Marvel would do that, but also Marvel's just now starting to get back into the good side again.
right. And we're getting their first round of like animation in the modern era with that Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But like, not that like canon matters, in terms of whatever, but like it is weird. Like your first thing you're launching is like a Spider-Man story and it's not canon to the MCU.
Yeah, you don't have to always make something canon.
Right.
If it's a if it's a good character and you wanna do something different with it, go for it.
Right.
I like to see a good story with
Sure.
a character, maybe in a different comic line that we don't normally get to see, or most people don't
Right.
kinda know about.
But it's like, because like from what I've seen from that spectacular, not spectacular spider, whatever, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, uh it looks like just a very traditional comic line where it's like there's Norman Osborn's in it, stuff like that. So I would imagine it's going to be Green Goblin oriented, at least to an extent, or he's just in the story for now, and then it's going to be about someone else. Then maybe in a season two they might do Green Goblin, but I don't know if we're getting a season two of this show because they announced this show I think like 4 or 5 years ago for an animated show.
Yeah, I never knew about it till we just recently got the most recent stuff for it.
Yeah, I remember it because I do like when Marvel goes into like whatever movie theater, like Santa Monica, and is like, "Look, here's the timeline for the next 6 years of content."
Here's our
And it's cool to at
roadmap,
least see the names. Like,
Untitled Adventure Project.
that does bother me. Don't put that up there. Like, at least put Avengers 5 or something. Don't put Untitled Avengers like, no. Like, there's some cool moments, like, when they did the whole, Captain America, they're like, "Ooh, it's Serpent Society," and people are like, "Ooh," and they're like, "Actually, it's Civil War," and I'm like, "Oh my god." Like,
Civil War was a great movie.
it's so good.
We
Like,
really
it's so good.
Marvel really made a lot of people hate a guy for trying to kill the guy that killed his parents.
Yeah,
I
which,
as
like
I saw someone post that on Instagram, like, "We really hate this guy because these 2 guys ganged up on him for being mad that the one guy killed his parents."
yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, that's right. I was Team Cap."
And I will say I was, it's a hard one for me on like, in the actual in the ethical dilemma, I don't know where I stand on the 2 because like, I get the larger issues, the whole Sokovia Accord thing,
Mhm.
um,
Right.
which was changed from the comics to something that's more applicable. It's more specific to the MCU being the Sokovia thing because like, in the comics, all it was like, if you are a super, you need to register yourself so the government knows about you. So, that was a much more broad thing that was gonna affect a lot more people than just the idea of, like, if you are on the team known as the Avengers, you're under the control of the UN. Because, like,
Right.
by and large, that has a lot less implications to it other than, like, what they bring up in the movie where they're like, "What if we need to go somewhere and they won't let us?" That's, like, the big dilemma for that side versus, like,
Mhm.
the idea of, like, if you are an individual, like, if you were born, Harmon, and you have a mutant ability or you're Spider-Man or something like that, technically, you're supposed to register to the government so they know your identity, where you live, and all that stuff, or face penalties, of jail or whatever, because when they end up sending people to the raft like they did at the end of Civil War. So it's like, damn, like they really kind of like simply cleaned it up a little bit for the MCU version.
Right. They also sent a guy who can just shoot arrows really well.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
No diss to Hawkeye, but let's be
I
honest,
will diss Hawkeye.
he could just shoot arrows really well.
Like, at least in his show, I really enjoyed him. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy him in things, but that was the first time I felt like he actually had something to reasonably do.
Yeah.
'Cause it was just about him and then, Haley Steinfeld's character there. I'm blanking on her actual name right now, but,
Kate
Kate
Blanchett?
Bishop. Yeah,
Kate Bishop, not Kate Blanchett.
yeah,
Bishop.
yeah, yeah, Kate Bishop. Yeah, thank you. I was like, I could for the life of me, I'm literally staring, like, in my mind's eye, I could see her in the costume. I'm like, "Hell was her name again?" Like,
Seeing Kingpin
but
also, that was kinda cool too.
yeah. No, it was cool because 'cause I'm glad we're not just completely throwing characters away. I was a little concerned when, like, at the end of that show, spoiler for Hawkeye, he gets shot, and I thought that was gonna be the end of him in the MCU, and I was really upset that we brought him back for a collective 12 minutes, and then he got domed, but thankfully they showed he did not die. So
I did like in Ultron when he had his little moment where Wanda was trying to like mind control him, and he just hits that stun arrow on her, and he's like,
oh, yeah.
tried that once, didn't like it.
Yeah, not a fan.
That
Yeah,
was
like,
that was a great moment.
he has really good moments, and I think a lot of it leads is from, like, I mean, the fact that Jeremy Renner, I think, is an inherently very charismatic
Oh
performance
yeah,
most of the time. Like, he just has a lot of fun in a lot of the roles he does. Like, even even the movies he's in that aren't necessarily the best, I tend to enjoy watching him at least, which is something I can't say for a lot of actors.
you
Like,
know,
I liked him in, what was that? Oh, Tag.
Tag.
I think he's
Yeah,
great in Tag.
Tag was funny. I appreciated Tag.
That was
I
good.
think it'd be funny if we had a group of people to do that. We just randomly, I show up at your doorstep and just, hey, you're it.
No
What the
tag
hell?
backs. See, the ultimate dick move would be you doing that now, because then with you being so far away, if you were ever it and you just returned to the area, on your way out, just be like, "Tag," you're with one other person of the group, just tag, no tag backs, and then you just drive off, because then you know you're safe for at least another, like, 6 months.
I know. I'm gonna be like, so who's it? And
Right.
then the person next to me is just gonna be like, hey, you're it again. I'm like, fuck. And I gotta
Damn
repeat
it.
the cycle.
I gotta get my car, drive 10 hours. Like,
Going back to Marvel, Rivals is still surpassing expectations. I'd say it's been
yeah,
fun. It's still
it's
been
really
fun,
fun. Like,
even after a month. That's I don't think it's died.
and, you
It's
know,
still getting a lot of players. I think they did a good job with ranked that it's not cross-platform. I'm sure eventually they'll add the choice if you want to play cross-platform, but I think keeping it console and PC separate right now was a good call at the beginning.
yeah. That's what I was gonna ask, like, because I've never actually paid attention in actual ranked game, but it is Xbox and PlayStation are together, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I assumed, because it should be, because 'cause we're on the similar hardware, yeah, that and we're on the same concept of remote, you know, that's how it should be, and then, yeah, just eventually, I would like the option if I choose to play with someone on PC, I just know I won't have aim assist or whatever, just do what Overwatch did. That's the one thing I can say, do what Overwatch did and not have it be like a me trying to make fun of your product. Like, 'cause, they pretty much looked at everything Overwatch did wrong and said, "Don't do that." Um, like, let's have fun events again. Let's have 6v6. Let's not wait like 12 months to get our first character addition to the roster out, because for the whole I get the whole thing where, like, Marvel has, like, all this, like, eras of lore because of the decades and decades of comics for these characters, but it
Yeah.
doesn't matter because you get, like, a brief little character blurb on their page, and then that's it. Otherwise, it's just a character. But Overwatch was so obsessed with, like, they had to have, like, every ounce of minutia of a person's lore written before a person could come to the game. And I'm like, I don't care.
They
Like, I
always had
don't
animated
care.
shorts,
Yeah,
they were cool. Don't get me wrong,
they
the
are
animated
cool.
shorts are pretty cool, but
Yeah,
I definitely think making a game where, uh, you already have a ton of lore already and you just need to pick and choose which characters of which comic line you're gonna pick, definitely makes it a lot easier.
right.
Because I
But,
am
like,
curious what they're gonna do with Doom, since we have 2 different Dooms.
true.
So which Doom are we gonna play as?
Yeah, because, like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, in terms of, like, kit, it won't matter because they should have, like, the same powers. But I'm interested to see, because, yeah, that the whole reason why this, like, rivals conflict is happening for the most part is because of the 2 Dooms and the Darkhold and all this other, pretty much all the high level, like, cards in the Marvel universe are on the field right now, other than, like, the Infinity Gauntlet, which I'm sure will come at some point in the form of Thanos is like a
Thanos.
Doomfist style character. So,
Yep. I know Thanos is
which makes
definitely
sense.
gonna be a tank. Uh,
Yeah.
if he's not, then that's kinda crazy. I'm gonna just make that assumption now that he's gonna be a tank. Kinda
I
surprised that
think
Ultron's gonna be a support, but, we were supposed to get him season 1, then they switched it, pulled a curveball on us, and, launched Sue and, Richard for,
Reed.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
Richard to you. Uh,
It's Dick
at the
to you.
start. At the start, and then we get the Thing and Human Torch at I think midway through season 1, excuse me.
Yeah, no, I would assume it'd be, like, around the halfway point-ish because I mean, I'm hoping that's not, like, season 2 is just them, because 'cause that'd be really bad pacing, but, yeah, no, I think they're all this season, and it would make sense that they would come in as, like, a season 1 reloaded type content bump, which they should be fun. Sue is a great addition to the support roster. The only thing I would say is, like, a negative, which isn't about her, is the amount of people who are prioritizing being offensive with her versus supporty, but that's
Definitely
gonna
does
happen
get a lot.
anytime you have a support with fun abilities, so
Mhm. Richard Reed, excuse me.
Dick.
Uh, he's fun to just, like, puff up and absorb bullets and just charge someone. He's
Yeah.
just he's just, like, power stancing, walking towards you.
Yeah, he looks like he swallowed a mattress, and he's just like, just running in like, "Oh."
I can't wait
Yeah, no,
for Hulk and the Thing fights. There's just gonna be 2
yeah,
big guys just punching the shit out of each other.
I'm interested to see what his is gonna be because, like, obviously, he doesn't, like, de-transform almost ever,
I
so
bet
he's
he
just
has,
gonna
like,
be
a
the Thing the
rolling
whole time.
I bet they give him kinda like Geb from Smite, where he has, like, a roll ability.
That
I
could
can
be
see him
kinda
become
cool.
like a boulder or like a boulder charge where he just, like, puts his head down and shoulder out charges, kinda like a charger from Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, like, I'm trying to think, like, because like, you could do stuff like I'm trying to think of something that's not just, like, direct ripping, but, like, you could have it's, like, something be like, he can create, like, stone walls, kinda like, Groot's walls, something like that, but, like, maybe there's something different about him. Um, or, like, have it all be, like, he literally just slams down and, like, he just, like, ground pounds in the air and knocks everyone up in the air. That'd be
I
kinda
bet that's
useful
just
for
his
some
ult.
displacement,
I bet that's his
but
ult. I bet he, like,
yeah.
slams the ground and slams someone,
Yeah, because like, that'd
slams
be
everyone
cool.
up.
Johnny seems pretty straightforward. I mean, I would imagine to an extent he's just going to be Iron Man, but with fire. Um,
That's what I was gonna draw the comparison to, but I didn't want to,
yeah,
but that's
yeah,
more likely what he's gonna be.
right, like, he'll have normal flight speed, he'll have, like, a flame on, like, faster mode, I'm sure, or maybe flame on's his ult, and during his ult, he just flies faster, but otherwise he's locked at 1 speed. That could be kind of interesting. Um, I imagine during ult, it would just be some form of, like, radiant burn damage around like, in a radius around his presence, something like that, but could be wrong. I don't know. There's a lot you can do with it. There's a lot you could really do the bare minimum, and I'd still be happy with that character design overall, but
I want a line 'cause I eventually I'm assuming Dracula's gonna come in because he's, like, the big bad for this season.
yeah.
Uh, I want a line with Moon Knight, "Where's my goddamn money?"
Yeah, exactly. I hope we get season 2 launch. I want him and Blade in the game really bad.
Blade Blade would be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah. Plus that, like, that art that, like, already exists of him in the game where he looks
Mhm.
sick. So, like, "Ooh, he looks so good." Like, I'm always a little skeptical with Blade because like, it's so easy for them to do, like not to dunk on the Blade movies, but, like, the outfit for that Blade, again, it, like, is accurate to some of the comic lines, but, like, it's just not interesting when it's just a dude it's a dude in a black, like, trench coat and then a black, like, cutoff, and it's,
Mhm.
like versus, like, having, like, the black with the red and, like, actually having, like, some color like, that look we got from that Blade game that's in development, like, that look for him is my favorite, where he actually has, like, a costume to him. Like, instead of looking like he shopped at Dick's for about 30 minutes and said, "That's good enough." Like,
Real question is, do you think we're gonna get Wesley Snipes to voice him?
no.
No, you think we get a younger one? Younger
Uh,
someone?
I'm guessing it is a voice actor that is, I mean, maybe known, but probably not. I mean, it could be someone. I mean, I'm trying to think, like, in my, like, lexicon of voice actors who would, like, really line up well for that character, and it's kinda hard for me to pinpoint.
Ooh,
It
maybe, maybe Davidson? Keith Davidson?
that could work. He would be, the most terrifying version of Blade at that point.
He would. He would be he
Like,
would be
that's
scary.
such a deep voice, just like just cut to that clip from the not Blade, Spawn cartoon. It's like, "Put that piece of pie down, you fat fuck."
It's great.
Keith David's such a good voice actor, but he would literally would make Blade absolutely terrifying. Which maybe they should do it then. Maybe that's the whole charm.
And if I end up calling it, then I want my name written down somewhere.
Yeah, because 'cause I'm trying to think, who voices him, like, in any of their other, because he was in Midnight Suns, but I don't remember who voiced him in that 'cause I didn't play it, but I know he's in it. Michael Jai White? Jay White? Michael White, I'll go with that. Um, I'm probably mispronouncing the middle name. Uh,
Yeah,
but yeah,
on
he's the
all
one who
honesty,
voiced him
it's
in that.
probably gonna be him.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what was the most recent use of that voice? And it's probably him? It would be cool if they would get Mahershala to come in and do like those voices for him to at least start getting ready for that character, but that Blade movie doesn't exist and probably won't ever exist, which
Probably
sucks.
not.
It's because like that's a great casting. Like Mahershala Ali is a great actor. Because at first when they announced him, like you got him. Like I get Marvel's got Marvel money, but like once you're like a very notable actor, I feel like at a certain point, like money doesn't mean anything. You're more worried about like your legacy or anything like that. Um, because like I'm like he's been in some great movies to risk, potentially being in like just like oh he was a guy in a superhero movie because I know that was like a whole stigma for a while. Um,
Mhm.
but I mean, like, you got the guy who's in the Green Book and stuff like that. I mean, like, actually, like, a really good actor. I'm like and, like, "All right, we're just waiting on this director," and I think they're on director number 6 now, and I'm like, "Cool." But so, yeah, that, doesn't exist. What do we know? We
No.
don't work at Marvel.
Nope, we're just 2 fans.
Hanging out.
2 guys
Yeah, 2
staring at
guys
each other.
hanging out, looking at each other, shitting on the internet. Yeah, it's like I
Oh,
mean, it's not like Marvel hasn't done anything good recently. I mean, like, don't get like, I really liked that Agatha All Along, other than one of the episodes was just not productive, which is my least favorite thing in a television show when, like, there's no net movement really in the episode, like, there's minimal, and I'm like, "Alright, this coulda not been here." But, you know, it was good. Again, I know I'm a sucker for the magic side of Marvel, but it was good. So I'm hoping they kinda keep that momentum because the next 2 things I think are kind of make or break when it comes to I mean, Captain America 4 is up next, and then Thunderbolts, I believe, is the next project, so
I think you're right.
it's interesting because Captain America 4 has a lot to unpack, and, because, like, this is gonna be the one that, like, at least at some point, they're acknowledging that half of a dead Celestial popped out of the Earth from Eternals from 9 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, but, like, it literally like, how have we gone this many years of Marvel shows and movies and not one thing is talked about the giant dead guy sticking out of the planet?
Uh, Next question.
So, they gotta deal with that, they gotta deal with I mean, he's fighting Red Hulk, the leaders in that movie. I I'm actually really happy that the leaders in that movie because in terms of, like, Hulk characters, he's always, like, fairly funny because most times he's like, "I have this brilliant plan. Abomination, fight the" "Oh, he lost. No, don't hit me there. Don't hit me there." Just gets his ass beat by Banner. But Banner's not in this movie as far as we know. So that's a little bit of an interesting thing to know that there's at least 2 major villains in this movie, if not well, actually, no, there's 3 'cause, Giancarlo Esposito is playing somebody in this,
I'm sure
and
I'm sure
he's never a
someone's
good
gonna
guy.
make a turn up that we're not expecting.
It'd be
Like,
cool.
it's gonna be, Captain America now on the ground, like, raising his shield. Someone's gonna say, "On your left," and it's gonna be a big reveal.
It's gonna be drum roll, please.
Old man Steve Rogers.
Old man Steve Rogers in the wheelchair.
"Don't worry, Sam. I got your back."
Like, yeah, because they've already said, like, Bucky, I think, is in the movie in passing, but he's not a main character,
Which I
which
find weird.
that's dumb. Because like, the good part of Falcon and the Winter Soldier was the buddy cop elements with those 2.
Yeah, like, "Get your foot out of the way. My foot was here first. You move yours."
That and Bucky
S
trying to bang Sam's sister.
I love that their, like, therapist scene was kind of unscripted with them getting that close to each other, and they just improvised.
It's just, like, it's so good. Like, every moment of those 2 interacting in the MCU for the most part is so damn funny. Like, when they're in Civil War in the back of the tiny car, he's like, "Move your seat up." He's like, "No."
You could do that all the time, and you waited till now? Shut up.
It's like, I don't know, it's a weird decision to be like, "Oh, he's not gonna be in this one because he's going to be a major character for Thunderbolts." And I'm like, I don't know what to expect out of Thunderbolts if I'm being completely honest. Like,
I'm hoping it's good. I
it has everything in it to be good. I like
agree.
most of the characters there other than Ghost because I hated that character when they introduced her, and I hate her now.
I guess we'll see. But I guess we'll see you guys next week because we've been
Yeah,
talking for a long time.
hey, it's easy when we don't
Get
have
on with
Jarrett
your
sucking on hard candy.
Yeah, having to cut out dead air.
That too.
All right. See you next week, everyone.
See everyone. Happy 1 year.
Woo!